In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you take the 4 phrases that you've completed and copy and paste to create your full-length form for your song project. Now, once you get your melody, harmony, and your bass track, you also want to make sure that you add a drum track to each of these phrases. Use a drum track that you created from the Patterns Beatmaker assignment earlier in the semester, and that you used for the earlier form assignment. Each different phrase should have a different drum loop added to it. You don't want to use the same drum loop all the way through the song. Just like you create variety with your melody and your bass and your harmony, you also want to have variety in your drum loops also. So once you have that done, the next step is to take your 3 phrases and copy and paste them to create the song form. So the song form that we're using is the basic song form that goes verse, chorus, break, chorus, chorus. So if this first phrase is going to be my verse, I want this section to be 16 measures long. In other words, I'm going to repeat this phrase 4 times. So the first thing I did was I turned my cycle bar on, I grabbed the end and I drug it out to measure 17 because I want this first section to be 16 measures long. I'm going to highlight these other 2 regions by clicking and dragging across all of these, and then I'm just going to click and drag these over out of the way. Now, the easiest thing to do to repeat this first phrase 4 times is if I click and drag across all 4 regions, then put my cursor in the upper right hand corner of this top region, then click and drag to the right, and it'll automatically loop that phrase 4 times. Now I'm going to grab my cycle bar and move it over to measure 17 for my chorus section, which is going to use my second phrase. I'm going to click and drag phrase number 3 to highlight all 4 regions, and then drag it out of the way. Next, I'm going to come back to my second phrase, click and drag to select all 4 regions, then put the cursor in the upper right hand corner, and I'll click and drag to the right to loop that phrase 4 times. This would be a good time to pause the video if you haven't already and go into Soundtrap to make sure that you have this done correctly. Remember, at any point in time in the video, you can always pause it, rewind it, or back it up if you need to see an explanation or demonstration again. Now, once I have this first phrase looped 4 times and the second phrase looped 4 times, I have my first 2 sections of the song, which will be verse 1, chorus. The next part of the song is to actually repeat the first phrase and the second phrase again. So this time I'm going to click and drag to highlight my third phrase, and I'm going to slide it over all the way to 65 here on my timeline. Now, if I come back here and start in an empty place on the screen, click and drag across all 8 of these regions or tracks, I can now hold my Option key down, then click on a region, and anytime you do this, you want to make sure that you have the pointer. You don't want that icon to show loop, or you don't want it to show it like the double arrows that extend the phrase, but just right in the middle so you get the arrow. So hold the Option key, click, drag, and drop. And just that easy, I now have verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus. What comes next is going to be the break. And the break section is typically shorter than the verse or the chorus. So instead of repeating this phrase 4 times, I'm only going to repeat it 2 times. The last part of the song is to take the chorus and repeat it 2 more times. So I'm going to come over, start in an empty place on the screen, click and drag to highlight all 4 of the regions. Next, hold the Option key down, take your cursor, making sure that you have the pointer, click, drag, and drop. And I'm going to come back and do that one more time. Option, click, drag, drop. And if you've done that correctly, you should be ending over here at measure 105. So if I back out so I can see this from the beginning, this is my entire song. Verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, break, chorus, chorus. Now, if you want to come down to this last chorus and add a fade out, you can certainly do that. I'm just zooming in so I can see it a little closer. I'll click Edit, Fade Out, and then I'm going to grab this little dot up here because I want the fade out to actually go over 4 measures, not 2. I'll click Edit and Fade Out on my harmony track. And again, grab that so that my fade out is the same for all 4 tracks. Fade out. And then finally on my drum track. So again, if I zoom out, I can see my entire piece from beginning to end. So this is the basic song form: verse, chorus, break, chorus, chorus. You're not quite done though. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to add an introduction to your song and also how to use some interesting sound effects and sound trap to make your song a little more interesting.